Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, in a recent video I've been talking about things that you make out of paracord or out of line that are useful in the woodcraft camp. Ways to connect things, etc. And many of you responded where I did the adjustable guy line that has the cruce knot running through itself, so it's adjustable to length. And then, as I said, I saw on a video of a gentleman named Felix. I'm going to say Imman or Imman. Very sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but I just don't know how to pronounce it. On his video, which I had found by going to look at Swiss Army knife things, he was taking and using a toggle, and he said he got it from someone else. And that's the thing I really love about this woodcraft, bushcraft community is something that you do or I do or whatever, someone comes up with an idea and it sparks and somebody else will go, hey, and that turns the light on that. It's a chain reaction throughout all of the community. And I really like that. That's something that really excites me, seeing how an idea just runs and runs and runs and each person comes up with a new little spin. That's great. And that's something I really enjoy. But in doing this, I had talked about soft shackles, which are soft shackles. We get up close in a minute and we'll talk about them. And so what this video is, because so many people asked me to do a thing on soft shackles, we will talk about them. Now, a soft shackle has many applications and many uses. The earliest that I can look back and say that I know what I'm looking at was actually a loop of steel cable that was used in vehicle recovery. It's a trick that a family member had learned in World War II of going around the axle or going around the frame to hook a chain to pull something out of the mud. And he had hooked it to bumpers of Jeeps and to axles and frames of trucks and whatever, and it was for vehicle recovery. And so I can remember going into my uncle's barn and there being these steel loops that were made up, and that's what they were for. And I don't think I heard the term applied to it as soft shackle, but you know, that was basically the thing. And today, the soft shackle takes the place of a cabiner. Now, let me show you up close. When I mean cabiner, I mean one of these. But actually, this is much older. This goes back to being used on sailing ships and stuff like that, and you do a little research and you'll find these being used way back hundreds of years ago. So you really could say that a modern cabiner does the job of a soft shackle instead of the other way around. Now, all this is simply a loop of material. Okay, I'm going to use bright orange paracord so you can see it easy. I'm going to hook that right there right quick so that I can have both hands free. The material is doubled in half and then a large knot is created. Make sure you can focus on that. A large knot is created and then the end has been burned with a lighter so it becomes a solid mass. Okay. Now this is just a simple loop. We're not done yet, but this is the basic idea. If you come over the top just like that and apply pressure, it's going to spread and pop apart. Okay, but if you take it and come between, underneath the knot, go between the cords and then come over the top like that, when that pulls together, that cannot come undone, and that's a locked soft shackle like that. See, it chokes, it can't come off. And this is a great quick way to put gear onto a belt or something like that where I want to attach it. For example, like on my grail, if I didn't want to carry the big carrier, I just want to carry the grail, being able to take this loop and simply run it through that big eye right there, go up under a belt, come over the top, and then go through it, then over the top, and pull. That will anchor and that will hang there quite happily, and will not come loose because that can't slack up on itself as long as there's any weight whatsoever. Even when it's off and you just, there ain't enough of it because the way that twists, see, to lock. It's like a locking lark's head. It's tucked, but all I gotta do is just slack it, take up, push the knot out like that, and it'll come right off. Very quick and easy to attach and detach. But there's a couple different variations of this. Now that is the super simplest way there is. It's simply a loop with a knot. But there's an addition you can add that gives it more options. And that's where you need some sort of sliding, constricting device on the cords to keep the loop from opening up. Now let me show you one of those right quick. I've got one right here prepared and ready to go. Okay, now what this is I have threaded a bead. Both pieces of the cord have gone through a pony bead. It's called a pony bead. Simply a plastic bead. And now when I take it off, you know, like that, if I want something that's a quick on and off, it's not going to be load bearing, but I'm going to have to take it on and off a lot, very rapidly. I can take this bead and slide it to the loop end. Okay, now I just come across and go over the top, and I can slide it up like a lock, and that will hold it secure, but I can grab it and pull it and just take it right off. So that's slide down, it's secure, it's not coming off. I can grab, pull up on the bead, and then take it off. So this is one hand on and off like this, and it just locks it in place, and that acts like a locking gate. Okay, now if you don't want to do a bead, you can simply whip, and we'll talk about whipping here in a minute, but it's where you take a piece of cord and you form a loop, and then you wrap up, go in and pull it so it cinches underneath, and it becomes a sliding on the same thing. Now this one I've got up here near the top of the knot, and it's going to do the same thing, so that whenever I spread it like that, I can come under, over, lock it as before, but now I can slide this knot up, and there is, by pulling that tight, there is no way possible that's going to come loose. The cord has to break. That cannot be even by accident slacked up and bring that back over because it's holding tension on it. I could also come from the other direction by sliding this loop around where it comes up, where that choke is, and pull it tight like that. Either one works, but it's a lock to put onto the soft shackle. Now the soft shackle's uses are anything that you could think of a cabiner. It's where I want to attach a piece of gear to something else and be able to get it on and off without having to tie any knots. It's, in the case of like the sliding bead or a sliding, you know, whip or something, I can do it one-handed and be able to take it on and off of the belt or the pack or whatever without having to spread it out. Now let me show you another little use for this. Okay, here I have my haversack, and I have my two straps. Now my straps are adjustable, but not every one is. So let's say I want to take and attach a big tomahawk to my bag. I'm going to use soft shackles. I'm going to go to one of my straps. It's around my neck. Okay. Go to one of my straps. I'm going to go around with the soft shackle. I'm going to go through, underneath the knot, come spread it, come over the top and go over that knot. I'm going to pull it snug, and then I'm going to take that slider and I'm going to pull it up there to cinch it up. Okay? Okay, on the other end, I'm going to come up. I'm going to take the loop, go through underneath the knot, come up over the top, like that. Now I'm going to slide up my knot to anchor it, and have that loop down there. Now, I'm going to come through the top, just like that, and then down here to the bottom, I'm going to put through just like that. And now, that tomahawk, is part of the rig. I can now put it on, just like this, and have that where I can pull it in and out easily, and it's attached to the bag, but it's not a permanent alternate to the bag. So by doing it, it will twist and bind a little on both ends, so it's snug against it. So it's not going to flop or come loose because it's anchored at 2 points. But I can just pull it straight out if I want to, like that. I can then put it back in just by going through that handle, reaching around underneath the back side, lifting up the loop and threading the handle on it, just like that, and put the tomahawk back in position with soft shackles. Soft shackles are just a quick, easy way to attach something. Now, I've got that Hella knife, okay? It's been riding in my haversack as the play with knife, work knife, etc., as a backup to my Blackbird that I carry. Being able to bring it out and just hook it to the belt I've got on at the time, without having to take my belt loose, you know. Don't have to take it out of the belt loops and thread it through officially. I can just go underneath the belt, hook it, doop, I'm done. It's now attached to me, and it's going to stay with me. I can use it, and when I'm done with it, I can unhook it, pull it off, reattach, and put it back in the haversack. Very easy without having to have a problem. I can hook it around my neck onto a cord or something, and just have a quick connect with the soft shackle. I can have like you've seen me use, a wide utility belt and attach various components to it through soft shackles to be quick and easy without any muss or fuss. It's something that we can make in the field. It doesn't have to be elaborate or fancy or whatever. And it's just as viable today as it was 300 years ago on shipboard. It's a quick connect to put X to X and be able to remove it without alteration in any way. And it's still being made today, so to speak. Now I'm testing out a new piece of gear for one wind. It's a child's hammock, but I'm thinking it's going to be a great big gear hammock, but we'll see. But on the end of the hammock, it's got, instead of like you'd normally think, it doesn't come with suspension straps. It comes with these, which is just simply a loop with a big knot in the end of it, okay? To attach it, it comes with a pair of soft shackles with Dyneema cord soft shackles. Now, you don't have to make this out of paracord or bank line. For those guys, many guys in the comments have said, could I use am steel or Dyneema? Absolutely. In fact, this one is even fancier. It has been threaded back through itself because it's a hollow braid to make one continuous loop. So how would I attach this? Well, I would go up to my line that I wanted to permanently attach to, and I would go through itself just like doing a prusik. Okay, that would attach that into the line. Then I would come up to this end and I would go through over the top where that knot is and let it pull back, and that soft shackle lock will hold. This cord is more than strong enough, and this hammock is a 250-pound test load. It's meant to be a child's hammock, but it's big enough I can get into it. So this, big gear hammock, would be the way that you'd attach. So this is current. This is something they're still using. If you do a search on YouTube or Google for soft shackle, you're going to get a lot of videos on it. And I was kind of shocked before I did this video. I went and looked just to see had it been explained or whatever. And I was coming up with steel cables like my uncle had used for vehicle recovery. I saw it in sailing, being a knot they teach on shipboard and etc. for yachts and sailing ships, and even for kayaks and stuff like that. I saw lots of people making them out of paracord for use, like I've talked about, as quick connect. So it's something that's still out there. It's still a living skill. And I talk about living skill to mean it's something that's still evolving, because hopefully someone will see one of these videos, one of my videos or something, and go like, hey, and there'll be an idea. for some application that nobody else had thought of. That's the great thing about it. We take an idea and our past life experiences and we combine the two and come up with this. And it may be something that 50 million other people done seen. Or it may be something that you're the first one that thought of that. You don't know, and that's the beauty of it. So, the soft shackle is just as easy as it can be. Now, I'm going to set the camera up over here and we're going to tie one right quick. I'm going to show you how to make a whipping, or you could use a bead or whatever, but to make that and show you how it works, just so you can see it. So, let me adjust the camera. Okay, I'm going to take some standard paracord for this, just because it's easy to see. And we're going to run off a length, about, say, 1.5 feet for this application, but you'll just figure out what the size is you need, how long, how short, etc. First thing we're going to do, we're going to cut it to length, just like that. And then I like to grip one end and pull it to straighten out the cover and pull any slack, and then go from that end this way, because it's woven and I want to pull that weave tight, okay, so it doesn't bunch up inside. Now that I've got the two ends done, I want to take my lighter and I want to kind of lightly char the end just a little. We're not done burning it, but I want to keep it kind of together, okay? That's a little long right there with that sticking out, so let me go to scissors right quick. Okay, now we're going to burn that in just a little bit just to cinch it up. Okay, we're going to take the two ends like that. We're going to measure out our loop. Okay, we're going to take the two ends and we're simply going to make a hole and stick the two ends up through that hole, just like that, okay? And pull that knot. Now grab the hole of the knot and grab each individual cord and pull the cord good and tight a couple of times so that the two squeezes up tight against each other. Then take the two halves and pull apart to lock it in. Now we'll cut this little tuft off here in a second. I'm going to work it and make sure it's where we want it. Okay. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to cut that off before I burn it. Okay. Now cut it down where it's kind of even. Now I'm going to burn this in. This causes the nylon to melt to itself. Makes it more like a solid knot. It won't untie easily. And it also keeps it from unraveling with use. And it makes it easier for you to grab it with your finger to push away from you. Alright, now we let that cool just a second. Okay, now I've got a anchor point, and this is just my adjustable guide line hooked to one of the legs of the thing, so I got something I can pull against to do the whipping. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up, I'm going to go through, I'm going to pull it so that it's anchored. Now it's a little too long, so let me cinch that up a little with that adjustable prusik knot. There. Okay. Now I want some small diameter cord, and this is not the number 36, this is the smaller size bank line. But it can be strong thread, nylon, whatever you want. It just needs to be something small enough in diameter that it can pull tight without doing, a lot of problem. I'm going to pull me off a piece probably about 20 inches long. Okay? I'll cut that off. And now just to keep it from unraveling, I'm going to just lightly scorch the ends. Right quick. So it doesn't unravel as I'm pulling on it. Okay. Now, to whip. I'm going to zoom the camera in even tighter right here, and I'm going to show you how I whip. Okay, now I've got my line pulled tight, and I put this down as a contrast so you could see this dark line a little easier than you could on that dark surface. I'm going to take the end of the line and I'm going to double over, giving myself a couple of inches of a loop. Okay? And I'm going to put the top of that loop facing away from me up here against my paracord. I'm going to take the other end of the line. I'm going to come down like a ½ inch from the top of that loop, 3/4 inch. I'm going to go around it and then go back through it, so it's like a half hitch. And I pull it up snug, just like that. And now holding the line snug, I'm going to come over the top and I'm going to begin whipping, which is simply wrapping it, coiling it around the outside of both lines. Just like this. Pulling it good and snug every time till I get about a 3/8 of an inch. Okay, now squeezing the lines and pushing them together just like that. Here is the loop from when I first started. Okay, I'm going to take the end of that line where I went around and around, and I'm going to go through it, just like that, and I'm going to hold it down with my finger on the back. Now come back here to the front, and that line from where I had made the loop, the first piece, that loop that was just hanging there, I'm going to pull it, and it's going to draw this loop here underneath and drag that free end underneath at the same time. This is called whipping. It's how you do an end of a rope. I'm going to grip the whole knot. I'm going to grip the whole knot, and I'm going to push away from me while I'm pulling the line, and this will draw that underneath. Now once I get it, and you can feel where the bulge is, it's in the middle of it. I'm going to take that remaining tab, bring it over the top, take this tab, go over the top, and I'm going to tie a square knot right there. Why am I tying a square knot? It is because if I just whipped it and pulled it underneath, usually the tension is what traps it. But remember, this knot's going to slide up and down on this cord, and there's a gap between these cords, so if that loose piece gap between it, it could wiggle and come out. This way it's held in place, and this knot is holding it. It can't come out because it's held from two different directions. Okay, now that I've whipped that, I'm going to take these two ends, I'm going to make sure they're good and tight, and I'm going to cut them off close using the scissors. Then I'm going to take my lighter and I'm going to burn that knot just a touch. Right there at it. And kind of tap it down with a lighter so it kind of melts it to the outside of the line. Okay. Now, let's see what we got. Bring the soft shackle off. Like that. And there's my soft shackle. Now, will this knot that I just created, this whip, slide? Yes, but with a lot of tension. It does not slide easily at all. Okay, so now I want to slide it up here close to the knot so that when I spread the knot open directly beneath the knot, take the other end, go through, over the top, pull it, and then I would slide that whip knot in place. That is a locked soft shackle, and that ain't coming undone. Okay, Now as you can see, here's the soft shackle we just created. Locked. I unlock it by grabbing that knot and sliding it downhill. I then push in, pull the loop off the top, and pull it back. So here's the knot, you spread it open, you push the loop in underneath the knot, like that, and come up and over the top, and then you pull it down tight, just like that. And that is going to stay locked, just like that. Super simple, super easy. Now, make sure that you keep the two ends the same length. I mean, like, don't do like this, okay? Because it ends up one side pulls and one side isn't. So you want to keep them even when they come around to anchor, okay? So come around, go through, over the top, pull the slack out, just like that. And then if you need to, slide the lock up. And you got it. So, the soft shackle. One of those little things you need to put into your kit, into your mental kit, of something that I can create in the field when I wasn't planning on it. I didn't think I was going to need this, but whatever comes along and I do need it, well then, I can generate it right now. Utilize it, use the cordage, tie it on your haversack strap, keep it in there. It's for carrying gear, it's for anchoring gear, it's for pulling stuff up tight, it's for hanging something, and it's for coverable. You know, that's the big thing to me. It's something that I can create from resources I have. I'm a big fan of recycling, and that's where I come up. You didn't have a lot, so you learn to do what you had. If you don't have it, figure out how to make it or adapt it or make it work somehow. From some piece of scrap, something you can have, something you can find, figure out how to do it. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. You got to have that possum type mentality of looking for the resources. So, I finished making up a ridge line, and I've got a piece that long left at the end of my cord that I don't have a set use for. What can I make out of it? I can turn it into a adjustable guy line right quick, which is a bushcraft cinch strap with a toggle. I can turn it into bushcraft zip ties, which is nothing but Canadian jam knots pre-made up and then daisy chained together so I can pull them out and go, and there they are. I can make them into soft shackles because I got a couple pieces of gear. How many soft shackles do I need? Probably, if you made up like 10 or so of various size, like 4 big ones, 4 medium ones, 4 small ones, you could mix and match with that and get by with probably 95% of what you need to do. You know, can I attach this to the back of my haversack and be able to put a rolled up tent on there or a tarp of a given size? Yes, I can just make them soft shackles that will just fit it. So I put it up there and it does the job of a buckle without having a buckle. See, it's something I can leave, utilize, and not be out a lot. Especially when I've got that oddball piece left over. What am I going to do with it? I hate to throw a piece that long away. Turn into one of those. You'll find a use for it, believe me. Once you start doing this and you get the mindset of it, it just seems to just be natural. Oh, I'll hook that this way. And I haven't been using soft shackles a lot, at least not on camera. I've been using them for quite a while for other things. Several times when I've carried that cold steel tomahawk, I've hooked them to my haversacks or my packs with soft shackles. And if I was to make up and design from scratch a rucksack, it would have places to put soft shackles through so I could hold anything from an axe to a machete to a bedroll to a tarp to a jerry can to a whatever. All I need is an anchor point, and I can make up the strap buckle to do it, made up out of a soft shackle. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below, and thank you very much for supporting my channel. Until next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.